$140,000+ in credit limits for one LLC accomplished in about a 12-month window of time across several different financial institutions. I want to give you some additional backdrop and context on how I was able to amass these combined credit limits, and I want to be able to do this in a way that's going to allow you to replicate this and go out and have similar results with the financial institutions you're working with to expand your access to capital for your business or your side hustle so you can build a strong financial legacy and add value to your community. So I preach consistently on this channel how banks love familiarity and the ability to repay. They use dozens of data points that they're constantly analyzing to measure you in 2 underwriting categories. But before we get further into that, I want to take a couple major myths and dispel them for you, if you will. The first is that your credit score is going to dictate your limit, and it does not. It is typically going to be used to determine if you are going to get approved at all, like a threshold, and it is used to determine pricing. That is generally what your credit score is accomplishing. It's going to give that barrier of entry to determine if they're going to lend to you at all and at what rate they're going to charge you. Basically, what risk you pose to them and pricing in that risk into the lending product. So that's the first myth we need to get out of the way. Your credit score is not necessarily going to determine your credit limit. It's really going to dictate your approval and how much you pay for that debt. The next is going to be the whole set your business up properly. Now, I want to be abundantly clear. This is very important, just like your credit score is, but it is not necessarily directly affecting your credit limit. This is important for you to understand. This is going to be another barrier that's going to really determine you getting approved in the first place. So when I say set up your business properly, if you've been following content similar to my own, you've heard the whole proper name, proper entity setup, EIN, address matching, business phone number, business email, good industry or NAICS code, etc. These are going to be the things that you've heard when you've heard air quotes set up your business properly. This is going to determine your approval. It's not going to reflect necessarily in your limits. When you don't check this box of setting up your entity properly, the banks are going to be skeptical or suspicious. And when they're like that, they're simply going to decline you. It's not going to be a scenario where they're saying, oh, this business name is risky industry or related to a risky industry, or this business address or phone number just isn't adding up, et cetera, et cetera. But so we're going to extend them a $4,000 limit instead of an $8,000 limit. No, that's not how that works. What they're going to do is they're going to run that through that algorithm. If it doesn't check out properly, there's any suspicion or there's any trouble verifying the information, they're just simply going to say, no, thank you. So that's 2 major myths that I want to dispel to help you get greater context going into this video. So once you've gotten past getting approved, limits are going to be determined by a separate set of focus points. Before I lay out what those focus points are, I want to give you a quick introduction and I want to give you a little bit of information on the opportunity for you to invest directly in this channel and share in the revenue and the profitability of this channel. Check it out. Okay, before we get back on top, you have some excess capital that your bank's no longer paying you that same return on. Now the interest rates are down and you're looking for a stable, purposeful, and profitable place to invest your money. What if I told you can support one of your favorite content creators while still earning a respectable return on your money? Yeah, that's right. The platform sponsoring this video is called Oversubscribe. It's a SEC regulated platform that's connecting the audience and the creator like never before. It's an opportunity for you to invest in this channel and share in the profitability in this channel as it grows. There's no commitment right now, but there's a link in the description. You want to learn more? Fill out the quick form and let's get in motion. So the number one thing that banks are going to be looking at when they are determining your limit is going to be relationship. Remember when we talked about that familiarity thing at the beginning? Yeah, this is one of those ways that you're gauged. Remember the Navy Federal hype? Most of that was based on hacking the relationship with Navy Federal. The code had been cracked on how you cannot have the best credit score in the world, maybe not even the best credit profile in the world, etc. But you were able to navigate building a certain level of relationship with American Express that can still get you high credit limits with American Express that you couldn't accomplish at other financial institutions that were less lenient. This was called relationship banking. They are able to assess your financial behaviors and have the ability to do background checks on you based on you banking with them. So when you're setting up your banking relationships, you're already signing off on a bunch of information and a bunch of documents that are saying that they have the ability to do a ton of data research on you and background referencing on you. They're also looking at the way you're handling the deposit products that you have with them. The checking account is showing your spending, it's showing your cash flow flow management. Your savings is showing your ability to maintain reserves and consistently build up. These are all factors that are used to say, okay, I'm familiar with this person. Their information they provided continues to check out, and we have a good gauge of their financial behavior. This is what's going to lead to them determining the type of limits they want to extend to you. These are going to be one of those factors. Number two is going to be income, the hidden power play. Remember that ability to repay part that I mentioned earlier in the video. This is where that comes into play. Do you have the ability to repay based on your income and or revenues if we're talking about a business? Banks like to lend on percentages. So if the bank wants to lend you no more than 30% exposure, for instance, then you wanting a 40K limit and doing so off of 50K of income or revenue is not going to work. You have to have good verifiable income and or revenues. They need the spread. They're going to want to watch the exposure level that they have with you, especially when it credit limits and lines of credit. Banks are not going to lend you 150% in limits or lines of credit to your income or your revenue. It's just not going to happen. It makes no sense. It's a complete recipe for disaster. The next third major factor they're looking at to gauge the credit limit that they're going to extend to you is going to be what we've dubbed in the financial space or the personal finance space as comparable credit, aka your credit report, not your credit score. Now it's time to evaluate what you've managed so far and who we have to compete with as a financial institution. You have to think banks love to compete for quality clients. If they see you are working with an equivalent or relatively equivalent financial institution with a similar product and you're managing it well, they're going to want that business. So they're going to be trying to offer you similar or higher quality product at similar or higher limits so you can port over that financial activity from that bank to their bank. And comparable credit limits gives them an opportunity to gauge risk with how you're managing what you have already, and it gives them an opportunity to see, okay, this client could be profitable. They're doing X, Y, and Z level of activity with X, Y, and Z competitor. Let's offer them more. And that's what you want. They want to see what you can handle essentially and who you've done business with so they can have a level of comfort and they can have an idea of the level of success and profitability they're going to have with you. So you can deeply influence the level of credit limits you're able to attain through these three major factors. The other factors that are going to be weighed out are going to be more pending towards approval, as I demystified for you earlier on in the video. If you want to get high limits as a form of financial buffer, if you want to get it as a form of capital to grow and expand your finances, your business finances, you have to play the game around relationships. You have to make sure you have strong income and or revenues, and you have to make sure that you're managing great banking relationships with other financial institutions, because banks like Navy Federal or credit unions like Navy Federal and some of these other financial institutions that are more lenient earlier on if you're recovering your finances or just building them out are going to be foundational when you're going to want to scale up to the Chase Banks, Bank of America, and American Expresses, who are going to be less forgiving but have significantly deeper pockets and a much broader array of products to offer you. So I wanted to put context on this because this is the formula, you guys, that I'm using to get to the level of success I've gotten. That is only about a 12-month window of time that $140,000 in limits has been accomplished, and that's one LLC. That's not my personal credit limits. That's not anything I'm working on for any other business that I'm operating. Comment down below. Let me know how any of these factors have worked for you in the past or currently. Let me know if what I demystified for you was new for you or mind-blowing, or if it's something that you have contests against. Let's talk about it in the comment section. To all my pioneers, welcome back. To my new viewers, welcome in. I want each and every one of you to like, comment, share, and subscribe to support this channel, so this channel continue to support and reinvest back into you. As we talk about investing, this is an opportunity for you to have a revolutionary investment into this channel and actually share into the revenue and profitability of this channel as it grows with a platform that's actually regulated by the SEC. It's not just some fly-by-night platform. You want to learn more about that opportunity to expand and grow your net worth while supporting one of your favorite content creators? Go in the link in the description below. Very simple form to fill out and no obligation. Other than that, I want each and every one of you to stay focused, stay in motion. I'll see y'all soon.